Welcome back. This lesson we're talking about the forgotten disorder, which is abandonment. And the reason that I call it the forgotten disorder is because there's very little published on abandonment. And when the subject of abandonment comes up, it's often associated with being raised by one or neither of one's biological parents. But abandonment is far more than that. Abandonment can result from the lack of love felt from an attachment figure of any kind. It could be being left behind by an older sibling or being cast aside by your first love. Abandonment can manifest itself in the lack of emotional support by an attachment figure as well. The reach of abandonment is not fully understood right now, but already it is evident that its reach is massive. Abandonment is known to affect many aspects of our lives and in many cases in a negative fashion, whether they are intimate, social, or professional. People with unmet needs often have a difficult time meeting the needs of others. So for those who were raised by one or neither of their biological parents, they will be missing a vital piece and therefore will pass it on. People who feel abandoned as a child will likely repeat this with their children. Abandonment can arise from a divorce, a death, or even in a separation. It can also lead to anxiety and depression. Many often overlook just how connected many of these illnesses are. Consider anxiety and depression. Those two often run parallel with each other. But just those two then can be added, others can be added as well. Depression, for example, makes one feel alone. So feeling alone is one of the main results of dealing with a mental illness. Displacement is another little spoken about clue of mental illness. It's characterized by taking out your frustration on whomever is present instead of the individual or individuals who caused your frustration in the first place. You can call it something like blaming someone else for something you are guilty of. To possibly provide a better understanding of how widespread and indiscriminatory a mental illness is, especially abandonment, we developed the Ronsu tree of mental illness. Envision a tree. We're saying that the root of that tree is abandonment. And because there's not much written about it, or there's no pill for it, its logic goes unnoticed, which means it also goes untreated and undiagnosed. Abandonment, in a way, can make us seek the opinion of others as to how we should live our lives and in the decisions that we make. That's why I believe it's so imperative that we finally address this disorder and restore the best person to make a decision for you is you. The other relationships that abandonment often affects are social, intimate, and professional. Now let's consider abandonment in a social setting. If you were affected in the past by hearing so often to how just inept you are in social gatherings, you may tend to avoid them at all costs, thereby passing on that abandonment to your children by missing some of their important outings in their lives. Baseball games, football games, whatever, because you are not comfortable being out there, they don't see you in the stands. In an intimate setting, you may have been harmed so severely that you not only seek partners that you are sure will not stay around, but if they continue to stay, you may find yourself self-sabotaging that relationship simply because it may make you better able to deal with the breakup if you made it happen instead of allowing it to happen. In a professional relationship, you may not feel confident enough to take the lead on any project, even though everyone knows that you are an expert in that area. You may know far more than anyone else in the group, but because of your abandonment issues, you may refuse to step up and step out there. Thus ends this lesson. Please don't forget about the quiz and take a few minutes to think about what you've just learned before moving on to the next lesson. See you soon.